what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're out here in Los Angeles, California for an electrifying event, and it's for this car right here. This is it. This is the all-new 2022 Porsche Taycan Sport Turismo GTS. But before we get into this power-packed, all-wheel drive performance EV, let's talk about what's going on here. Porsche. They've been around for decades making that ultimate in German sports car performance. Now, over the years, no other brand has won more 24-hour Le Mans races overall than Porsche. And when you look at just endurance racing overall, many different wins, many different championships. Now, for years, for decades, when people wanted the utmost performance from this brand, they dialed 911 on their telephone. Normally that would get you emergency, but in Porsche speak, it gets you that high-end performance. Fast forward to the 21st century, the 911 is still around, but the Taycan is that first entryway for Porsche into the EV market. Now, it's been around for almost 2 years. Believe it or not, last year outsold the Porsche 911. So what the brand decided to do is kind of up the ante with a special trim known as GTS, Gran Turismo Sport. What you're gonna find is taking a lot of different trim options and specs, bringing some stuff over from the mighty turbo version of the Taycan, but yet giving it a unique style, driving reinforcement and capability, and then also that overall experience. So what I want to find out is, has Porsche done enough with this Taycan Sport Turismo GTS to make it a unique EV? And is it worth the price for what you're getting at the end of the day with how this is not only going to move your body, but also move your soul? So let's go ahead, let's dive into our Taycan Sport Turismo, which is for that wagon shape, but we got the GTS, the Gran Turismo Sport. Let's dive in and find out all the details. Right off the bat, the styling. When you see it, you know it's a Taycan, just like you know a 911 is a 911, and I like that about this model. Now, for the GTS and for 2022, you're gonna get a totally unique front fascia. What they did was they enlarged the side air curtains with that flat black. You can see the horizontal slots there to help direct airflow. But what they also did was they gave us some concave shape to the front end to help suck that air in and channel it down the side. Because remember, it's all about cheating the air and being as slippery as we can. Now, when it comes to headlights, of course, you're gonna get that beautiful headlight design. Everything on the GTS is blacked out on the interior. We got the Porsche name up top, LED headlights, turn signals, the whole shabam with the daytime running lamps. And I really love the way they kind of sink the housing in and then extend the front fascia and that fender into the bumper area, gives it a unique look. And from this perspective, shows that connection to the other models in Porsche's lineup. Now, as we come across that center grille area, there's two things you should know about this particular vehicle. First of all, it is a German spec vehicle, hence that Euro plate designated at the front. This is also a pre-production, so something to take into consideration when we are going over this particular example. But Porsche wanted us to be first to get our hands on it. That means you here on Raiti's Rides gets it first. Now, on the GTS, you'll notice the more aggressive lower front fascia. That's going to help channel air all around the front end of the vehicle, all flat black. I do like the way they go with the flat black rather than the gloss black. It really is going to age well, and it is a cohesive design from the front of the vehicle to the rear. Now, from the center section, it looks straight up 911. If you were able to just cut this center area of that front mounted trunk section, it looks like a 911. You got the mighty Porsche crest, all that history from Stuttgart, Germany, where is the home of Porsche. Love that great style and the way they actually sunk the badging into the hood to give you that aerodynamic efficiency. Everything goes right towards the windshield, and you got those beautifully sculpted fenders that curve right towards the A-pillars. From behind the wheel, you could see that perfect vantage point as you're going down your favorite twisty road. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we getting on our GTS. Now, standard is the 20-inch Taycan turbo wheel, but guess what? We have the optional 21-inch RS Spider forged aluminum wheels. Love the design, satin finish to them. You got your Porsche crest in the center, but it doesn't stop there. Besides this 21-inch wheel, lurking behind is that supersized carbon ceramic brake setup. So you have your carbon ceramic rotor, the size of a Pizza Hut pizza, probably bigger than what you ate last night, two-piece, that's gonna help dissipate heat. And one way that you know that this is that carbon ceramic setup is you have the bright yellow on the calipers there. And of course, you're gonna get a larger caliper that's gonna help give us that stopping power that this vehicle could shed speed like a husky sheds hair. Plus you have regen braking. So what that means is as you apply the brakes, that's gonna help recharge the battery. We also have that adaptive suspension, all four corners, air suspension helps lower the vehicle. And the Taycan GTS already sits a little bit lower than your standard Taycan, but it's all about taking goodies from the 4S, from the turbo, and bringing it to this performance, Brandon. And if you're wondering, do we have summer tires? Yes, these are Pirelli P0 summer tires. Up front, you're looking at 265 on the width, 35 series sidewall. Of course, we've got a dual motor setup, motor up front and a motor out back to give us all-wheel drive. Now, as we continue down the side of the vehicle, you do have your charge port door, easy to get to. And I'm gonna have Lori kind of swing around and show that flared out fender. One of my favorite touches on the Taycan. When you look at the concept vehicle for the Taycan, that Mission E concept vehicle, it basically had this overall shape. And that's why I think this vehicle is a success. One of the many reasons is that it took the design from the concept vehicle and brought it into the street going. Now, on our particular one, we do have color match mirror caps. You're gonna get 360-degree cameras. Now, what you could do is option all of this to be Guards Red. That is that popular color, probably one of my favorite colors on any Porsche, Guards Red. You could also do carbon fiber mirrors as well if you wanted to. Now, if you're saying, well, Joe, from the side of the vehicle, besides the wheels, what else is specific to the GTS? Down below, that nice flat black side sill extension specific to the GTS with the gloss black in there. And I love the way they work the GTS logo into that extra aero. And remember, Porsche is not going to put something on this vehicle that is all show and no go. That's going to give you extra aerodynamic efficiency. You can see how the door handles are nice and flush, great shape. And I'm telling you, if you're going to turn a vehicle into a wagon, because remember, you get Taycan as a sedan, this one being the Sport Turismo is a wagon shape. Look at that sexy low roof design coming into the rear spoiler, the way they kind of have that flared fender. And let's take a look at the rear wheels. Still going to be 21-inch. You can see we got our 4-piston caliper out back with those massive carbon ceramic rotors. And if you're wondering, Joe, what's the size of the tire out back? 305s. So 305s on the rear to help give us that great stick. And as we spin around, this is where things get super sexy. You can see that beautiful roof design coming into the GTS specific rear spoiler. All the LED lighting. Look at the way they flare out the rear of the bumper. LED lighting. And what you'll notice is the Porsche name dropped in there. And I love the way they do almost like a microchip design with what's around the Porsche script there. Really shows the attention to detail. My one zonk is this guy right here. This guy spoils the party. You have a party at your house and that one friend shows up that's just a big jerk when he's drunk. That's it. I wish they would have tucked that, figured out a way to tuck that underneath that rear spoiler. But as we drop it like it's hot, on your GTS, all the badging is black. So you got your Taycan GTS badge looking really slick on the back, all blacked out. You have your button right here to pop the rear hatch area. And then you'll notice the unique rear diffuser. Massive size, really paying attention to detail. Some flat black, a little bit of gloss black, everything looking super slick. But why don't we go ahead, let's talk about horsepower numbers with our GTS. All right, guys, we got the hood pop, but remember, the electric motors are underneath the sheet metal, not visible from anywhere up top. But I do want to showcase with the front mounted trunk that location for usable space. You could easily put 2 carry-on size bags in that front area, and that's just the front trunk area where of course you got a full cargo area. Now normally this is where we would talk about horsepower on a front mounted engine car. So let's talk about power while we have the hood open for the front. You have those 2 electric motors mated to a 2-speed transmission. That makes this car unique. It has the 2-speed transmission instead of just a single direct drive. 590 horsepower, 626 pound-feet of torque. That is the same amount of torque as the Porsche Taycan Turbo. Of course, you have that liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack. The car weighs 5,100 pounds, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. That is the same for the Sport Turismo as it is for the sedan. Top speed, 155 miles an hour. Quarter mile is going to go by in about 11.2 seconds. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what about MPGEs? What we're estimating is around a 235 mile range, 73 MPGEs in the city, 78 MPGEs on the highway. And of course, you got 17 cubic feet of space to store those goodies and all that great LED lighting. But you know what? Let's get to the interior and see what the Taycan brings to the table. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Porsche Taycan Sport Turismo GTS. What does GTS stand for? Remember, Gran Turismo Sport. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, Joe, this Guards Red Sport Turismo is really doing things to me inside my mind, inside my heart, and definitely inside my body. How much is it? Well, first of all, before I let the cat out of the bag, let's talk about the history of the GTS. All started, the first GTS on a Porsche was back in 1963 on the Porsche 904 GTS. I think the most famous one everybody remembers is 2010 on the Porsche 911. That was the first time that there was a GTS. So let's talk about pricing. The Taycan GTS sedan starts at $131,000. But we're not in a sedan, we're in the Sport Turismo. So let's talk about that. Starting price MSRP for a Sport Turismo is $133,000. You can obviously option it up to around $180,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Absolutely love the spectacular style. Now remember, this is a German production vehicle for the German market, and it is a pre-production unit. But you do have that wonderful red contrast stitching with the nice leather up top. And then you're going to get that race-tex material, which is Porsche's own designed microfiber suede material. 3 memory seat settings for the passenger. And, of course, as you slide down to that armrest, you're getting the nice leather with more red stitching. A door pocket that is large enough for 4 Bavarian cream donuts. And we have the optional Bose sound system in here to give us clear sounds. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, more of that wonderful leather, the red contrast stitching. There's a bit of gloss black, not too crazy. And the thing is, I'm going to show you, you actually don't adjust the AC by using your hands on the actual vents. Now, the cool thing with this GTS is that you do have that passenger screen over 10 inches for the passenger to be that side seat driver. The good news is you could turn it off very easily so that they can't see anything, but we're not going to do that right now because I want to show you what's going on. We got a G meter, you got your digital speedometer. It'll let them know what mode you're in. As I change modes, it lets them know that I'm not messing around. You could also go into your navigation, pull it up. There we are in LA. If you want to come out and visit us right now, or go back to the gauges. Very, very easy. You could take the Apple CarPlay, which is wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, take it from the driver's center here and bring it over to the passenger. Love that technology. Now, as we slide over, you get a second over 10-inch infotainment system screen. This is all that updated software, touchscreen capability. You could go into your car settings. We could adjust our drive modes right here, set it up individually. You could go into your chassis settings. And then what's awesome is that electronic sports sound. Now, normally I'm not big into pumped in tunes, but guess what? Porsche wanted to make the GTS driving environment that much more special and engaging. So in a studio, they took the motors from a Taycan and actually created that sound special for the GTS. So there's speakers outside the vehicle at the rear for passenger, and not only passengers to sort of get a little bit of that sound, but also for pedestrians. But then there's speakers on the inside, and you could turn it on or off and wait until we get to that driving, because it's been tuned for the actual driving of the GTS, and it's real easy to turn on or off. Now, going back to the different modes, like I said, range, you could go, if you want to go for the long range stuff, it'll put you in full eco mode. We're going to stick it in Sport Plus. I'm going to adjust real briefly here the blower fan for the AC. I'm going to show you more of that in a second. Let me show you backup cameras. How about that? Throw it into reverse. There's our backup camera. Somebody's pulling in behind us right now, but you do have your 360 and trajectory, which is great. And then to get out of it, of course, you just go back to park, and we're right back where we started. We could go into charge. You can see how much charge you got left in that battery for that whole range anxiety. The Sport Chrono package. Not only can you adjust it here, but remember, we got the famous clock up top with the red background. Loving that attention to detail. Everything else, though, is very intuitive. Climate controls. I promised you, how do you adjust climate control? So what you got to do is you actually got to come over here, hit individual, and now with my finger, I could move where the fan is going to blow. That's the technology that you're getting in this Taycan that you're not getting in a lot of the other EVs. And then you can pull up navigation very easily. Sliding down, you can see we have more of those AC vents. You don't adjust them here, you adjust them in the screen. We got our AC controls, dual climate, heated seats, but no ventilated seats. That's gonna be a little bit of a zonk there. So they should have ventilated seats in here. Of course, that is an option. You could actually open the front mounted trunk or the rear hatch all by the press of a button. If your range anxiety is that high, you could put it right here so you can always keep tabs on it no matter what. And then you'll also notice underneath, of course, we got to have a Porsche Twinkie tray. 2 Twinkies will fit in here, snug as a bug. Plus, I like the way they got the nice knee protection to hold you and your passenger in there. There's more of that race-tex material, the Taycan name up top. I like the way they went flat black to protect this from fingerprints. What about key fob? There's your Porsche key fob with the crest. Look at the lines. That's the Sport Turismo right there. You got your buttons on it, easy to get to. Another cup holder, and then open that bad boy up. We got tons of suede material in here, felt material, so something doesn't get scratched. But I don't know, maybe 2 Twinkies diagonally. If you go any more, you're gonna get cream all over this beautiful GTS interior. Speaking of beautiful, look at these sports seats. It's got the GTS embroidery up top. Love the stitching all the way down with the nice bolstering. 18-way positionable seats, plus, to wrap it up, additional 5 extra horsepower with the red seat belts. Looking good. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom in here, but why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Taycan Sport Turismo GTS. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Just like the passenger, you get 3 memory seat settings, but look at what you're getting on both sides. That beautiful carbon fiber sill plate with the Taycan GTS script that lights up LED. Footbox is looking great. I would like to have seen the optional aluminum pedals in here, but you got a nice large dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle in the pedal box. Seats feel great. I feel like this is like meant for me. Speaking of the wheel for the business side, you do have that race-tex covered steering wheel with the red stitching all the way around, carbon fiber. Love the way they hollowed out the spokes. And you got the Porsche crest and the drive mode selector switch, just like a Le Mans race car. It is electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. Plus, you'll notice that they have the power on button in the traditional location where normally you would find the key fob location or the key for other Porsche products because of that connection to the 24 Hours Le Mans. You have actual touch screen points for your lighting on the far left, and then that full digital display, tons of information that you could scroll through on that far right area. We could bring up the Sport Chrono to really test our time. We could then shut off traction control, adjust our suspension, all by the flip of a thumb on the screen. Raise or lower your GTS, which we're lowering it right now. Really, really cool setup on there. And I like the way that they did a nice concave shape to the screen to make it feel familiar to the Porsche brand. But why don't we go ahead? They say there's more room in the back seats with the Sport Turismo setup. Let's get into the back and see how your passengers are going to enjoy you carving corners like Thanksgiving Day turkey in this Taycan GTS. All right, guys, backseat time. And yes, I am living proof that the Sport Turismo version of the Taycan has more headroom in this vehicle than in your Taycan sedan. What's wonderful, of course, ours has that race-tex Alcantara microfiber suede material along the whole headliner. You can get an optional sunroof that has that new technology whereby the press of a button, it charges particles, and you can make it tint or you can make it clear all by the press of a button. But this particular one has been optioned with the solid roof for ultimate performance. Speaking of ultimate performance, those one-piece back sport seats, looking sexy, no pockets, and I don't care because this just looks killer in this Taycan. Of course, you're gonna have rear AC controls and vents, and remember, it's all done just like up front. You do it on the touchscreen, and I can move everything around. That's ultimate technology. It's the simple things though. We have a Skittles tray back here to taste the rainbow since we can't see the rainbow because we don't have the sunroof. You could have your Skittles back here. I got plenty of leg room. They really did a great job making this unique to the feel and the function. And then of course, there is an armrest, but I am gonna zonk it. Not enough leather material for your arm, but you do have two cup holders, which are nice. Plus, everybody gets a red seatbelt except for the middle passenger. They suck. But everybody else gets a red seatbelt. Let's get in the cargo area though and see what we can haul as we make our trip to the Nürburgring in this Taycan GTS. Right, guys, one thing about this awesome Taycan Sport Turismo is not only the sexy shape, that's definitely a hot one, but also the usable shape that we have. You hit the button in that lower bumper area that's hidden, and you're gonna be greeted to a ton of usable space. Lower cargo floor, nice and wide. You got a nook on the driver's side for a full box of Twinkies, so when you're at the Nürburgring turning your hot laps, you're not getting Twinkies all over the place. Plus, on the passenger side as well, they have a box for their Twinkies, and there's also a place for a 12 volt. If you're wondering what is the size back here, you're looking at 43 cubic feet of space. You could go to Costco, do the bigger run, and get those larger objects. I know you're waiting for those famous words, those on-throttle words. This is part one. Stay tuned to Raiti's Rides, December 14th, 2021, 6:01 p.m. Eastern Time. We're gonna be doing the full on-throttle review, totally separate review. We're gonna be taking it through the twisty bits. Set your alarm, tell your friends, put a big banner up in your neighborhood. What is it? December 14th, 6:01 p.m. Eastern Time. But since all good things have to come to an end, if you're ready, I'm ready. We're in California. Let's wrap up this 2022 Porsche Taycan Sport Turismo GTS. All right, guys, it's been an amazing time out in California. I definitely got to thank the whole Porsche USA team for allowing Raiti's Rides access to this media event so that we could bring it to you. Remember, stay tuned December 14th at 6:01 p.m. Eastern Time. We have the separate second review with all the driving impressions and on-throttle action. But let me know what you think. So far, from what you've seen, has Porsche done this Taycan Sport Turismo GTS right? Is it worth the price for an EV? Put it down there in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raity's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera. No matter what the elevation is, no matter where we are located in the world, she gets the business done. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.